Right now at 10, city leaders in Richland Center approve of the resignation of the chief of police as he faces sexual assault charges. We'll update the case.
And Madison city leaders tonight discussing potential routes for the bus rapid transit system and additional projects following the approval of a new $40 wheel tax.
Plus, why an area math teacher is saying no more homework and how that approach is benefiting his students.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
First tonight, we start with breaking news. All of the eastbound lanes on Highway 18 just west of the interstate are closed. Madison police say it's in response to a crash with injuries near the Yahara Hills Golf Course around 7 o'clock tonight. The eastbound lanes have been closed since. Police are asking people to avoid that area.
Also breaking right now, crews have just patched up a water main break. This is on Whitney Way near Vitense, just off the Beltline at Gilbert Road. Madison Water Utility saying this has been isolated, but some customers may have some water service issues until those repairs are complete.
Next at 10, the chief of Richland Center Police has resigned tonight.
He's currently facing 3 charges of sexual assault. Amy Reed joins us now to explain what's next for the folks in Richland Center. Amy?
Today, Lucas Clemens sent this note to the Richland Center Police Commission explaining why he's resigning. Tonight, the commission met to accept his resignation and figure out where to go from here.
Effective immediately, we've accepted the resignation of Chief Clemens.
I think there's just a mixture of emotions because it's been a potentially traumatic thing for the area, and it's something that's been on a lot of people's minds.
Peter Walsh said the unanimous vote wasn't easy for the commission, but ultimately they accepted the resignation. Clements wrote to the group Monday, saying as he defends the allegations against him, he does not wish to draw any more unnecessary negative attention to the department and city. The allegations came out almost a week ago, a complaint saying Clements groped a bartender and stole her tips, some of which he denies. The rest, he says, was mutual. Now, after being on paid leave since June, his resignation is immediate, and Walsh says the community must move forward.
This is one person, although a very important person within the department, but the whole department is still here. They're still protecting the community and serving the community. And I think that they're going to continue to do a great job.
Leading the department now is Lieutenant Billy Jones, who will remain acting chief until this commission hires a replacement. At their meeting tonight, the commission changed the qualifications for their future chief, allowing someone with an associate's degree, but also at least 10 years of experience to be considered. Before this, Jones, who holds an associate's degree, couldn't have been hired full-time. Now he can. But Walsh said after this experience, the commission is hoping for many applicants to build the force they need to move on.
The current police force is a big portion of building that trust, and we just need to regain that.
The commission is accepting applications until the end of the month, and they'll vote on a replacement at the beginning of December. They have some competition as they search for the new chief as Madison, Middleton, and a few other cities look for a chief as well.
Amy Reed reporting. Amy, thank you. 20.5 years, that's how long Wayne Murphy will spend in prison for slamming his semi-truck into a school bus full of students on the interstate last year near Portage. Today, a judge sentenced him for all 30 counts he was facing, including 10 felonies, 2 for each of the 5 middle schoolers seriously injured.
Milwaukee police say a hit-and-run driver injured 2 children. This crash happened around 4:30 today. Police say the kids, believed to be about 4 and 6 years old, were in the road when they were hit by a vehicle. After hitting the children, that driver took off. The 4-year-old is being treated for minor injuries, while the 6-year-old's injuries are considered serious. Just last month, another hit-and-run driver killed 2 young sisters, ages 4 and 6, and seriously injured their 10-year-old cousin in North Milwaukee. Their funerals were today. The FBI has broken up a plot to bomb one of the oldest synagogues in Colorado. A 27-year-old man who is a self-proclaimed skinhead is under arrest. Investigators say Richard Holzer wanted to attack Pueblo, Colorado's Temple Emmanuel Saturday morning, but the FBI was in on that plot. According to court papers, Holzer met with undercover agents last Friday in a motel room. The agents gave him 2 fake pipe bombs and 14 sticks of dynamite shortly after he was arrested.
Today is the 40th anniversary of the Iran hostage crisis, which led to 52 Americans being taken hostage and held for 444 days. The youngest of those hostages at the time, a 20-year-old Marine named Kevin Hermaning, is now a well-known figure in the Wausau community.
It's been 40 years since the day we were captured. It has created as a core what I believe in and how I live my life. There were many days and nights where, yes, we did fear for our lives. There were mock executions. We were blindfolded and handcuffed repeatedly.
Now, the moment he singles out as most important never happened to him at all. It was an attempted rescue mission where 3 Marines and 5 airmen died. He says, though, it gave them hope for the last 8 months of captivity until they were released.
Temperatures are dropping a bit overnight, leading to a chilly wait for the kids at the bus stop in the morning. Meteorologist Dana Fulton joins us now with your first alert forecast.
It's going to be a little colder outside tomorrow, not just in the morning, but also in the afternoon. Our Doppler radar is nice and quiet tonight, so we don't have any showers moving in. No snow threat for us. To start off tomorrow, we get sunshine for Tuesday, but snow impacts will build back in Tuesday night for Wednesday. Could see a little bit of accumulation for areas north of Madison, and then another big drop in our temperatures expected for the end of the week. We have an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday morning, as that morning commute's likely going to be just a little slick outside. We'll take a closer look at those accumulation totals and the rest of the work week in just a few minutes.
People are raising concerns of the safety of one of downtown Madison's busiest intersections. You know this one well. John Nolan Drive at South Blair and several other streets meet there. The city proposing a major construction project. 92 crashes were reported there between 2011 and 2015. Tonight, city officials showed some sample ideas about where to add turn lanes and pedestrian streetlights. City officials say the best way people can stay involved is by coming to one of those public forums. Updates on the proposals can be found on the City of Madison website. The ball is rolling on the city's planned bus rapid transit plan.
Now that a $40 wheel tax for vehicle owners in the city passed, some of that money will go toward the project. Madeline O'Neill joins us now with the latest.
Well, tonight, the Transportation Policy and Planning Board is in the early stages of discussing what downtown routes with a bus rapid transit system will look like. The $40 wheel tax or an additional vehicle registration fee was controversial all along. Now that it's passed, here's a look at what the city will do with an extra nearly $8 million.
We're kind of at a pinnacle, where we can choose how are we going to address our transportation needs for the next 30 years.
Down the road, the amount of people traveling in Madison will go up.
Dane County's plan to get 85,000 more jobs, Madison 45,000 more jobs, the Isthmus 10,000 more jobs. And where are we going to put that traffic?
So the city is getting the wheels turning on its bus rapid transit system plan, already discussing what routes downtown could look like.
Then all of a sudden there's some really significant advantages to 1A over 1.
The plan is to connect Easttown and Westtown with dedicated lanes for buses, limited stops, and frequent service.
Our BRT buses, one bus will be taking 80 cars off of East Washington Avenue.
Transportation Director Tom Lynch estimates the bus rapid transit system's operating cost will be between $3.5 and $4.5 million annually. The recently passed $40 wheel tax will bring in about $7.8 million a year, all of which has to go toward transportation costs. $1.4 million will be directed toward the bus rapid transit system. About $2.6 million will go to Madison Metro.
Just increasing costs associated with, fuel, driver salaries, maintenance concerns.
That leaves about $3.8 million that can replace general funds used for transportation.
It frees up some property tax revenue to support our existing services like streets, parks, police, fire.
Lynch says even if you're not an avid bus user, the bus rapid transit will be worth it.
Transit's just more efficient. It frees up our roadways and it will allow us to have the capacity to get people to where they need to go.
With the dedicated funds from the wheel tax going toward the BRT system, the city's transportation director says it will make it easier to secure a federal small starts grant next year. The goal is to start construction as early as 2022.
Happening tomorrow, the Dane County Regional Airport is set to announce a new set of nonstop destinations from Madison. They will be holding a press conference tomorrow morning at 8:45. Right now, we don't have confirmation on where these locations will be, but the airport says it will be for spring travelers. Middleton's Point Burger Bar location is closed. In a Facebook post, the owner said they lost revenue fixing damage from flooding last September. They thanked the Middleton community for their support and said if the right opportunity came along, they'd be happy to return to Middleton.
UW-Madison students can now have their meals delivered via robot. University Housing and Dining Service is launching a fleet of 30 Starship Technologies robots like that one. Students can order dining hall food from an app and then drop a pin where they want the robots to deliver it. Right now, delivery is available in the Lakeshore campus area. It will be expanding to the southeast area in the coming weeks. That delivery fee, just $1.99. Orders can be placed during normal cafeteria hours. Facebook is updating its branding with a new colorful logo. In a blog post today, the social media giant said it's making the change to differentiate between Facebook as a parent company and Facebook the app. The new logo changes colors as a nod to its other apps: blue for Facebook, green for WhatsApp, and red and orange for Instagram. The Facebook app will still keep its signature logo. Still ahead tonight, low test scores and wasted class time.
How a local math teacher saw a need for change in his classroom and why he decided that would mean getting rid of homework. That story coming up next. The standard for homework around the country is 10 minutes a night per grade level. So half an hour for a third grader, 90 minutes for a high school freshman, and 2 hours for a senior.
But one Judah High School teacher is seeing success with a different method. Gabriella Becerra explains it, a story you'll only see on News 3 Now.
We're going to work on One new concept, it's number 9.
In Scott Anderson's classroom,
Got to start in parentheses.
students are working every single minute.
It's the expectation. And literally, they worked up almost within seconds of the next bell.
But when class is over,
Be careful, watch your signs, you got it.
it actually is over.
I'm a complete traditionalist reformed. I literally started my career signing 30 homework problems every day.
Then Anderson watched test scores go down and valuable class time wasted. He decided something needed to be subtracted from the equation.
And we had a large portion of our outgoing seniors who weren't qualifying for college credit math. We are no better, no worse. And since I am the department, I said, this has to change.
That change, he eliminated homework. Now the focus is testing into college-level math courses.
When a student goes to college, they're taking college credit math. If they're an engineer, they're taking calculus. If they're a business major, they're taking elementary algebra. But whatever those skills they need to have, they have.
And Anderson says test scores are just proving this method works.
We've been able to document the improvement of our student body, moving from roughly 30% not ready for college math to almost 100% are ready.
Before he stopped giving homework, Anderson did what he'd ask any of his students to do. He studied, looking at the effect math homework has on learning.
There's a little bit of correlation in math that homework is a little positive.
Anderson thought the negatives outweighed that positive.
I think it's finding a balance.
Judah School Superintendent Tracy Davis knows it might not be a policy that's duplicated across the district, but says Anderson students are doing just as much work as the others, even without taking some of it home.
He uses that class time very wisely, and they're learning all hour when they're in there, so that the homework maybe isn't as necessary a piece.
Plus, in a more rural district, not all students have access to the internet, and other commitments take up time after school.
You've made a gigantic assumption when you assigned it about the student's ability, availability, socioeconomic conditions.
Anderson also lets his students retake quizzes and tests as many times as they need to.
You build a culture of math is failure. It's working your way from a wrong answer to a right answer, but we control it. We don't let it become a frustration.
Failure minus frustration, math minus homework. Anderson says it all multiplies these students' chance for success. In Judah.
See you guys tomorrow.
Gabriela Becerra, News 3 Now.
Like with any change, Anderson says eliminating homework took trial and error, but it was overall a positive switch. He says it's always important to study what's best for student learning and then adjust where it may be needed.
The Great Lakes are expected to remain unusually high and may set additional records. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers office released its outlook for the next 6 months. Experts say a wet October interrupted the usual fall drop-off of water levels. Lakes Michigan and Huron are likely to set monthly records in February. A lengthy dry spell would be required to reverse the trend.
Whenever I see the Great Lakes like that, it just makes me cold. Just looking at that. Those white caps, those big waves, the wind,
seasick.
the cold. We're going to have some more potential snow coming our way this week.
Yes, and the cold also really settling in, not just for us, but throughout the Midwest. Everyone's trending below average in that long-range outlook. Today, of course, our warmest day of the work week, and we were still well below average, only hitting a high of 46, and it's just not going to get much better from there. So we had a cold front slide through, of course, bringing some showers this weekend. This reinforcing cold front passes through overnight. Pretty weak, though, not bringing any moisture along with it for overnight or to start off Tuesday. Thankfully, we get high pressure building in. That keeps things nice and sunny. It'll be a little breezy behind that front tomorrow, a little cooler outside, but we get to enjoy the sunshine. That's the good news. By Tuesday night, looking at 6 o'clock, of course, after sunset, the cloud coverage starts to build back in. Off to the west, those light flurries will start to build in and come through right after midnight and for most of the early hours on Wednesday. The center of this low pressure is really going to dictate how much snowfall we actually see. If it starts to trend just a little further south, we'll pick up a little bit more snowfall, at another 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 of an inch for southern Wisconsin. If it does trend a little more north, that means we might see a little more rainfall along the state line for Beloit and Janesville. That rain, of course, will eat away at the chance for any additional accumulation. That clears on out by Wednesday morning, and that's going to lead to a cold into the week behind that system for Thursday and Friday. Overnight, partly cloudy. Temperatures will fall to the mid to upper 20s for our overnight lows. So it's going to be a little colder early in the day and also colder in the afternoon, as high temperatures are only going to reach the mid to upper 30s. So for some areas, almost a 10-degree drop for those afternoon highs for Tuesday. Mostly sunny during the day. It's not until later on in the evening that the cloud coverage builds in and those snow chances start to develop on the western edge right around midnight and then creep further east. Light snowfall expected throughout the morning on Wednesday, likely going to impact that morning commute. Some of it may still be falling for areas north and west of Madison during your morning commute. Because of this, there is an alert day in the forecast for Wednesday. Notice we do have a few showers coming through right along the state line, as temperatures will be just a little warmer and that low pressure will be close to the center of that. For Wednesday, though, throughout the rest of the day, mostly cloudy. As far as accumulation totals, the max amount here seems to be about at 2 inches for areas north of Madison, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches possible, again, north and to the east of Dane County. But to the south, as they won't see as much moisture come on through and that rain will eat away at some accumulation, those totals are going to stay much lower. Tomorrow, Madison will be close to 37 for our afternoon highs. That breeze, something to factor on in, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour. So as you head out the door, you'll definitely want a windbreaker. Along the state line, will be just a little warmer, but in Sauk City, we're looking at temperatures in the mid 30s. Upper 30s for Tuesday and Wednesday with that alert day in the forecast for Wednesday, mainly due to the morning commute. By Thursday and Friday, we will have sunshine back, but it's going to come with unseasonably cold temperatures in the upper 20s by Thursday and Friday. And by the weekend, back to the upper 30s. It does seem like we're going to be dry for Saturday and Sunday at this time, but through that entire 10-day stretch, we are well below average, not only for afternoon highs, but also for our overnight lows coming through.
And again, that average is
51. 51 in Madison is where we should have been today, and we were at 46.
Highs in the 20s, man.
Highs in the 20s and overnight lows in the low teens.
Wow, it's like fall was here for 5 days and said, see
and
ya.
then ran away. Ran far away. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Badger football team hoping to make it a November to remember. The story coming up in sports.
Guess who's the NBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week? Yep, Giannis Antetokounmpo averaged 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists last week. It's the 10th time Giannis has been the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Giannis and the Bucks begin a 4-game road trip tonight at Target Center in Minneapolis. The game delayed about an hour because one of the rims was crooked. Once they straightened it out, Giannis took over. Here's a rebound, one end of the other, and a dunk. He had 34 points, 15 rebounds. It's just gone final. Bucks 134, Timberwolves 106. Bucks at Clippers Wednesday. The Badger football team is back from its bye week. It'll start a critical stretch in November with what's basically an elimination game for the Big Ten West Championship when they play Iowa at Camp Randall Saturday afternoon at 3. With the sting of losing at Illinois and Ohio State still fresh in their minds, the Badgers still have a lot to play for in the next month with games against Iowa, at Nebraska, home to Purdue, and then what could be a really huge game at Minnesota. But first things first, a date with Iowa Saturday.
You're in the middle of it now. You know, we had a chance to catch our breath, but it's how do you take advantage of each week? And I think that's been the belief, you know, I've had the whole time. We had a good message today, you know, be where your feet are. And our feet are right here in the Iowa week. And that's a big deal. It's a big game. It's a great historic rivalry game. You got a ton of respect for their program. It's a big deal. And so why not try to make the most of that opportunity?
The Packers are back home this week. They'll play the Carolina Panthers at Lambeau Field this Sunday afternoon at 3:25. In a 16-game regular season schedule, you're going to have a game or two that are pretty much duds, and the Packers had one of those games yesterday at the Los Angeles Chargers. Aaron Rodgers, one of the worst games in his career, throwing for only 161 yards. He had a passer rating of 85.5. Just seemed like the Packers were lifeless from the start. Whole thing still doesn't sit very well with head coach Matt LaFleur today.
I just think you can never get comfortable in this league, ever. The moment you start feeling yourself or you get comfortable, that happens. So hopefully that, you know, we learn from this. We use it as motivation to have that sense of urgency in our preparation to make sure something like that doesn't happen again.
The Brewers started their offseason with some significant player moves today. They traded pitcher Chase Anderson of the Toronto Blue Jays for infielder Chad Spanberger. They also decided to keep catcher Manny Pena by exercising the club's option. But they're saying goodbye to first baseman Eric Thames. Brewers could have kept him for another year at $7.5 million, but they'll give him a $1 million buyout instead. Thames hit 25 homers. He had 23 doubles this season. It was a serviceable player in the field at first base and on rare occasions in the outfield. But Eric Thames won't be back with the Brewers in 2020. And we'll be right back.
Partly cloudy and colder tonight. Tomorrow we get the sunshine, but temperatures are going to drop back quite a bit for afternoon highs. We'll be in the upper 30s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday, that alert day is for some morning snowfall that could impact your morning commute. After that, we cool down quite a bit for Thursday and Friday. Though the sun does come back, it's going to be a little cold outside.
All right, Dana, thanks for joining us.
Do something good, and we'll see you here tomorrow.